Let's talk about the most controversial game of the decade, and that is Starfield. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Rampage that is Gaming. And today we're doing an impressions video, my early thoughts on the game. I'm about 30 hours into this game, and this is the second time I've recorded this video because when I first recorded this video, I was 20 hours into the game, and then I played some more, and now I'm almost at 30 hours. And man, I just had to redo this video for obvious reasons because, like many say, the deeper you go into this game, the better it just gets. It just gets so much better. So these are my early impressions and thoughts of the game. There might be some minor spoilers because I am currently on Neon and I'm doing some, and I'm basically just talking about the game as we play through it. Now I am playing on PC at the moment. But yeah, first things first, what I just want to say is, do not believe the hate campaign and the hate smear campaign that's just around this game, where people are looking at every single last detail or fault with the game and they're just putting it out there saying that the game is bad, the game is unpolished, the game is trash and all that. They're just trashing the game. The PlayStation ponies at the moment, I'm sorry to say, we don't take part in the console wars here, but the PlayStation ponies at the moment, they're just trashing on the game for no apparent reason. There are some that's playing the game, and if they don't like the game, then that's genuine criticism. But most of these guys don't play the game, and yet they're trashing the game. And currently on Metacritic, you're seeing zeros on the user score. Why? It looks to me like it's just PlayStation fanboys going ahead and trashing the game however way they can. So far, the game is a big success for Xbox and Bethesda, the biggest launch, 1 million concurrent players, and I think it's now 6 million. Though I would like to see how that number actually works. I don't know, so I'm not going to go much into that. But another thing I wanted to say, from playing this game, I can also see where reviewers rushed their reviews. They rushed to finish the game, and they missed a lot of things, particularly one thing. At the end of the day, I do get it. This is their bread and butter. They make money off of reviewing games and that, but I feel like most of them rushed the game and they only discovered a lot of things later on. So with that being said, let's start off with the good things. This is by far the best BGS game that you will ever play, without a doubt. This game is polished. This game is polished on console, even the Series S, as well as PC. Now, I know there's some optimization problems on PC, and I haven't had any problems or game-breaking bugs on PC. I played my first 8 hours of the game on the Series S, and let me tell you, the people out there that's hating on the Series S, this game looks fantastic on the Series S. If you thought that the Series S is not capable of pushing this game and playing this game, you are sorely mistaken. I will say this: if you're playing on a Series S, avoid playing on a 4K TV because it is upscaling, and the Series S is a 1440p gaming console. So I'd say if you have a 1440p monitor or a good 1080p high refresh rate monitor, play it on there instead. It's going to look much better. I'm not saying the game looks better on a 4K TV. Yes, it looks good, especially when you're in the interior of a particular building. It looks fantastic. But when you get out to the open world, and this is what I saw on New Atlantis, when you're in the outer world, in the city and that, the objects from afar look pixelated. There are some limitations to the Series, I guess. That's why I say play on a 1440p if you can't afford a decent PC, or a Series X. The Series S is the way to go with a 1440p monitor. You will not regret it. But yeah, first things first, the pros. This game is beautiful to look at, without a doubt. This game is amazing. In my previous videos, I said that the facial animations are outdated. But I gotta tell you, I love the aesthetic and the art style that this game uses. It just looks so appealing to me. It's great. The game is beautiful, from the details to food items, to interiors of a particular building, to the character models. Now, without a doubt, yes, You've probably seen all over Twitter and YouTube the stink eye animations of NPCs, but what I can tell you is that mainly relates to NPCs that fill the world, like these people walking around here. Look at there's your stink eye right there. But it does not break the immersion. It's such a small thing, yet you'd find these ponies and console warriors, they are constantly hanging on to that because it fits the narrative of the game is trash. Believe me, it does not affect the game in any way. If you lose immersion by that because of the NPCs throughout the world that just fill up the population of the world, then I don't know. Then the game is just not for you. Next thing, the gunplay in this game, man, the gunplay is a refined version of Fallout 4, of the Fallout series, and that is not a bad thing. It's a familiar system, but it's more robust. It's so much better. The hit markers and all that from the different types of weapons, like a ballistic weapon against enemy AIs, it just feels good. Enemy AIs are good, they're not bad. I haven't had game-breaking enemy AIs where they're stuck in walls or things like that. To me, they're pretty good, and the reactions is great as well. They have different reactions from what I've seen to different types of weapons. So you have your laser weapons, you have your ballistic weapons, and melee weapons and things like that. They react differently to it as you hit them with it, or the way you fire upon them. That's what I've noticed. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below if you guys notice that as well. Then we go into the character customization. I love the character customization of this game. It's Bethesda character customization. It's a Bethesda game with Bethesda game character customization that is more in depth than previous games. Now I see a lot of people comparing it to Baldur's Gate 3. Yes, Baldur's Gate 3 has a more robust character customization in the game, because why? There are different races, there are different humanoids and things like this. This is solely just humans. If there were other alien humanoids in the game, we probably would have had various other options as well. But I love the character customization, as well as the perks and traits that you can add to your character at the start. Like you get 3 perks, you get 3 traits that you can choose from, and it has an effect in the game, and I love that. It reminds me of Mass Effect. Playing this game is reminiscent of Mass Effect 1 and the Outer Worlds. Now, yes, Mass Effect 1 is old, but is that a bad thing? No. The game plays like Mass Effect, especially the space exploration, and I think Mass Effect fans will feel right at home here with this game. Now, for me, third person is the way to go with this game. I love third person mode in an RPG where they are given the option. And I just wish that Cyberpunk 2077 employed the same thing, because I think third person mode in Cyberpunk would have been great. So, and I think this game excels in third person mode. That is just my opinion. So as a Mass Effect fan, I feel right at home with this game. As well as the Outer Worlds, which is another great game that I love. The game just plays well. Facial animations of the main NPCs are fantastic in this game. Like I said, there's only some stink eye of the population NPCs around the world, but facial animations are good. They are better than I expected. Sometimes they're even on par with Cyberpunk 2077. Not all the time though, because there are moments with certain NPCs that give you particular missions throughout the universe on certain worlds that feel robotic. And I think that's just a limitation from the creation engine probably. But with that being said, the story, it's doable, it's serviceable. Not the best story out there, but it's a great story. But this game shines when it comes to its faction quests and side quests. Damn, like I'm currently here on Neon, I'm playing as a ranger, and I'm currently playing as a spy for the United Colonies, because I got arrested because of carrying contraband when my ship was scanned. And now I was blackmailed or forced to become a spy, to spy on the Crimson Fleet. So it's just insane the ways you can play this game. It's just crazy. Hey, future me. As I was editing, I just wanted to redo this piece here. So all I wanted to say was that the more you play the game and the more hours you put into it, the more rewarding the game itself becomes. It is the side quests and faction quests in this game is just where this game shines. Like I said, the main story is serviceable. It's not a bad story. It's a solid story that carries into many of the side quests throughout this universe. Now, I know that a lot of reviewers and critiques have been saying that the game only gets good after 12 hours. However, for me personally, the game was good and I was already hooked when I started the game, because what people need to realize is that many people consume content first with their eyes, and if something looks appealing, they're going to be hooked. And that was the case for me. Yes, the campaign is a slow burn, and like I said, as you play it more, you become more invested in the game, because the game is more rewarding. And yes, that is a fact. But for me, I was hooked from the very start. And I understand where people are coming from. They're saying that, if the game doesn't hook you within the first 4 hours, then it's not a good game. And that, unfortunately, we live in a time where people's attention spans, something has to hook them immediately for them to be intrigued with it, and they don't have that much attention or time to play a game 12 hours in, 20 hours in, to wait for the game to get good. Like I said, each to its own, but that is the reality of the day. People are used to short forms of entertainment, but that's not the case here. This is a narrative driven game. It's a role-playing game where there's a lot of narrative choices to be made, and therefore it's a slow, gradual story building game. And unfortunately, the reality is that's just not everyone's cup of tea. But for me, it hits the spot, and I feel right at home with it, and for many other people as well. Back to the video. Now, the campaign is a slow burn. That's why I say it's very reminiscent of Mass Effect 1 or Mass Effect 1. So it's a very slow burn, and the first few missions of the main quest, it's like introductory quests to the different systems of the game. So it's not much there, but you are allowed to go off the beaten path and do some side quests, and that is where the game shines and you get more hooked into it. It's just crazy. Like I said, this is like the third time I've recorded this video, because every time I go play some of it more, I'm not falling in love with the game, but I'm loving it more. Like at 20 hours I was liking the game, but now at nearly 30 hours I'm loving the game and I can't stop playing, and that to me is great. Now, a lot of people are complaining that, yeah, it's just Fallout 4 in space, Fallout 4 and Skyrim in space, but to me it's a more refined version thereof. And what is wrong with something familiar? Elden Ring did it from Software Games, with Elden Ring, like the Dark Souls and that. They gave a refined system of what was previously loved, and it won Game of the Year. I love the perk system. The perk system is great. There's so much here to unlock, and so much different play styles that you can have with the game, right? But I do have some minor issues with it, and I'll cover that in the bad section of the game when we talk about that. But I love the perk system. There are different ways you can play, so I don't think that the combat will feel repetitive, because there are various ways you can approach it. You can go stealth, you can go guns blazing, you can go all out melee combat. It's entirely up to you, depending on the way you build your character around the skill trees. I think that is dependent and affects the way how you can approach combat. I also love the persuasion system. It's not as robust as Baldur's Gate 3, but it works here. It's like a point-based system, and the higher the point on a particular option, the more difficult the persuasion will be, and you get like 3 turns. Now you can build your character around persuasion and intimidation and that, and that can have a great effect for you. I've talked myself out of so many situations where I was not prepared for a gun battle, and it was just crazy. And because I took the wanted trait, I found myself being hunted by bounty hunters continuously out in space, and currently my ship is just not built or upgraded to a point where I can just take on anyone in a gunfight, especially when I'm going against 2 or 3 ships. They continuously kill me. Talking about ships, man, the ship customization in this game is on another level. Okay, don't judge my horrible ship here, but The ships, so the shipbuilding in this game, the ship customization, I've seen TikTok, how people are building crazy things. They're building the Millennium Falcon, they're building different things from other beloved franchises. It's just insane. I lost about 3 hours in my first shipbuilding customization session without realizing that 3-4 hours were going by. And I was and when I looked at the clock, it was like midnight. I'm like, holy shit, this is how long I've been sitting in ship customization, and I did not even finish my ship. So it's very intimidating at first because it's not just about going in there and slapping parts together. The game will tell you whether your ship is viable, was nominal to actually fly in space, in that they'll tell you what is missing from your ship, what the ship needs, where certain parts need to be. So it's great, and with this alone you can have tons of fun. Then we go to ship combat. Ship combat is also great depending on how you build your ship and how you upgrade it. Your ship can be either very stiff depending on the mass and the mobility of the ship, or it can be very agile and powerful depending on the weapon upgrades and, like I said, the mobility and engine and all like that. So if anything you put on the ship has a consequence, which is great. And not just talking about that, but when you go inside your ship as well. So anything you added, like the habitats, the habits and things like that, it has a different look, it has a different feel to the ship. It's just great. And the shipbuilding, I give it 10 out of 10. Now, other things I love about the game as well are the suits and guns. Oh man, I love the suits in this game. I freaking love it, but I only got one here because the inventory system on this game is pretty crap, and I'm going to talk about that later. But the guns especially, I saw a clip on Osman's Girl saying that we did an honest review of someone else's review of the thing, saying there's only 10 guns. Do these look like just 10 guns? Okay, maybe here's just 10 guns, but there are so much different guns in this game. And I love the look and detail of these guns. The gunplay is, it is great. The gunplay is not the best out there, but it's great. It's so much fun. And you can customize these weapons, so that gets a 10 out of 10 for me as well. But man, the inventory system, we need to talk about that. We need to speak about that, but we will when we get to that section. So far, man, the game just looks great. Great story, great sideline, great faction quest, great graphics, great gameplay. Man, what more is there that I'm missing? Oh yes, sound design of this game is amazing. Now I've lowered the audio and the music sound, things like that, because I'm speaking right now over it. But man, sound design is great. The companions are great. They've got a lot of personality. Though I wish the AI of the companions were a bit refined more, especially when it comes to stealth gameplay. They're not the best out there, and I'll explain later on why. But yeah, interesting dialogue. Voice acting as well is great. Although there have been times when the voice acting of certain NPCs can be very dull, and sometimes I would just zone out with them. But yeah, that's another thing I'll talk about later. But yeah, in no way is this game the generational game or generational leap that many Xbox fans were stating, or neither is it game of the year. It could have been that if there were not a lot of functions missing from the game. And I think if those things were not missing from the game, or were updated in the game, in the system, it could have been a generational game or game of the year contender. But given how vast, how massive this game is, I think it is a generational leap for Bethesda as a gaming studio. Anyone saying this game looks outdated is talking through their ass. Let me just say it now. They're talking through their ass. What is outdated is the gameplay mechanics. But it's not outdated to the point that it feels like you're playing Fallout 4. No, it's a more refined system, much better. You can see that the system has been upgraded. It has been updated. And as a Bethesda fan and Fallout fan, I think you will feel right at home here. Like I said, if you love Mass Effect as well, you'll feel right at home with this game. And I think you will enjoy it. The game is a lot of fun to play. But like I said, there are some drawbacks to the game. There are some negatives. And let's talk about that now. Now let's talk about the biggest criticism that this game has been receiving, and that is the space exploration. That is the space exploration. And yeah, it is underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie, it is disappointing. It's a bit disappointing that you're not able, first of all, that you're not able to fly to and from planets, that you're not able to land wherever you want. That is very, very disappointing. But the fact of the matter is, and this is where I feel that the reviewers just rushed through the game. They weren't actually experimenting with the game, and playing it thoroughly through. That they just rushed to get a review out. That they did not realize that you actually don't need to be in the menu all the time to travel. That has been one of the biggest criticisms of the game. But if they actually played the game and spent a lot of time on it, they would realize that they don't need to go through all this. Now, first of all, let me just say this section here, the grav drive, jumping from one solar system to the next, this is perfect, and I wouldn't do away with it because in no way could you be flying from one universe to the next. I think this is more convenient, right? But what I will say is disappointing is that we are in the universe. We am here. I'm in a particular solar system. I would have loved the ability to fly my ship from one planet to the next planet over here without it taking several or more hours. Yes, you can fly from one planet to the next, and that's what a lot of reviewers got wrong. They didn't know this. We've seen the clip from Alana Pierce where she flew to Pluto and it took her 7 hours to get there. So you can fly to a particular, from planet to planet. It's just going to take very long, and that's where I think the game suffers, because at the same time what people fail to realize is that the game is also stuck in a bit of realism when it comes to the space travel, and I think that's where it's hurting the game, because at the end of the day it's still a video game, and if they had just made some compromises in this aspect, I think it would have been a lot better. If I was able to fly from one planet here over there and it just took 5 minutes or something, that would have been great, and I was able to land on the planet, land on it wherever I want, then space exploration would have been perfectly fine. It would have been great. Now let's move on to something else where a lot of reviewers and streamers and that got it wrong, saying that you spend most of the time in the menu traveling from one planet to the next. That's just not the case. You can do it from spaceship right here as you are flying in space. All you have to do is cycle through by pressing A. So there is, I think this is a solar system, another planet, right? It's giving me the option to press X to travel there. Now, if this option is not, if you don't see this option, what you got to do is you got to press the scan mode, right? And then your ship goes into it, and then you see, so now you press A, you're cycling through to where it is, and there it gives you X, and now I'm traveling to there. And there we go. Now, yes, like I said, it would have been great to just fly there, but I can't do it, but it's going to take forever. Here's the convenience, because it's stuck in realism, which is hurting the game. Now I'm gonna go back there.
Hello, stranger. I just finished cooking up some food.
And there I go back.
Come on over, just pop on by.
Oh shit, I just missed grandma. Look at that. And there I'm back at it. So you don't have to spend most of the time in the menu. Yes, for the grav jump, yes, but you don't have to spend most of the time in the menu. That's why I will advise spend as less time in the menu as you can and fly around. Just fly around. Have fun with it. Now here with the map scanning, I wish that this game employed something that Mass Effect 2 used, which was where you could shoot a drone to the planet and the drone scans the entire planet. I think they could have employed that right here with your ship so like as I am right here now, they could have given me an option where I shoot a drone from here onto the ship and then it scans the planet instead of having to, where it asks me to open planet map. Instead of doing this, where I'm scanning it now, and you see all the elements. It could have been much better with just me shooting a drone to the planet from my ship and scanning it and giving me all the information. I think that would have been more immersive. Now for me, these fast travel points, they are convenient. And in my personal opinion, I don't see myself flying to and from planets I've already revisited. I would rather use the fast travel options for convenience. Where I would have liked to have that option is for every new planet I visit. And the fact that Bethesda removed that option from us players is disappointing. And that is why the game is getting heavily criticized, because many people are expecting a No Man's Sky game mixed in with an RPG. But the fact of the matter is, Todd Howard did say this.
Starfield is our first new universe in over 25 years, but it's still a Bethesda RPG through and through, where you step into a new world and you get that feeling of unlimited possibilities.
That the game is a Bethesda game through and through, a Bethesda RPG game through and through. Now, yes, maybe the development of Howard gave misleading statements that led many people to believe that it's going to be similar to No Man's Sky when it comes to space exploration, but people are using that solely as a means to take away from the game. Yes, criticism should be given where it is needed, especially where misleading statements have been made. And I completely understand where reviews and that are coming from, but they've also missed a lot of things by rushing the game. It's a massive game that I don't think one can rush. That's why I'm patiently waiting for reviews from Skill Up and Angry Joe, because they are taking their time with the game. They're not just taking 2 weeks or something to play the game. They're taking their time. Now let's go to the next hot topic, and that is the vast emptiness of these planets. Now, it was confirmed that there are 1,000 planets to be discovered in this game that you can visit and things like that. But this is where I feel that a lot of reviewers and influencers and streamers, they just forgot that in Todd Howard's interview with the Kind of Funny Gamecast channel on YouTube, he confirmed that only 10% of these 1,000 planets would have interesting things on them, would have life and settlements and things like that on them, and the 90% of them would just be procedurally generated planets. Now, I was skeptic at that time already, and I posed the question to my viewers that, hey, could this mean that there will just be vast empty planets? And that seems to have been the case. Now, what does that mean? That means, like, when you look at a particular solar system right here, here's, say, 10 planets. There's probably not 10, but say now, example, you get to a solar system, there's 10 planets. That means that there are maybe just 1 or 2 planets that would have interesting things on them, and the others would be procedurally generated. Now, is that a bad thing? No. There could be very interesting things on there. I don't think anybody has explored all 1,000 planets already. There could be interesting things out there on those planets that the developers maybe hid. That's like a Easter egg or something like that you could discover. But the problem is exploring them. That is the thing. You have to actually go to them and explore them. The problem is we don't know exactly what 100 planets forms part of the 10%. Yes, we know that the ones with big settlements and that would probably be part of the 100 planets where there are interesting things on them. But we don't know for certain unless we actually put time into it. We go and explore these planets. And I don't see myself personally going to explore all these planets, because it's like 1,000 planets in all, and I don't see myself traveling to all these places. It's just massive. Maybe if I have time to spare, I would go in that. But yeah, so that's not a disappointing factor to me, because I knew what to expect, that it will be just emptiness. And a lot of reviewers that I've watched confirmed this. So I was like, oh, okay. As long as there's some interesting planets on those 100 planets, there are interesting things on those 100 planets, I'm fine with it. But yeah, that's been another hot topic. And I think people criticizing that when he already confirmed that it will be procedurally generated, that there might not be anything on it. Yeah, I think just putting all the negativity there, it's a bit unfair. But yeah, because I mean, the guy did say that only 10% will have life or interesting things on them. So
The million-dollar question as it comes to a game like this, it's a great question, one that we honestly struggled with early in the project. We wanted to do the planets because we like to give you that choice. Where do you want to go? You feel like you would want that choice in a game like this. And so first it was technically, could we pull it off? And we did technically be able to draw these planets, make them feel believable on the screen. Now, Obviously, it's procedural. Okay, so there's no way we're going to go and handcraft an entire planet. What we do is we handcraft individual locations, and some of those are placed specifically, obviously the main cities and other quest locations, and then we have a suite of them that are generated or placed when you land, depending on that planet. Now, I'll also say for us, we view it as giving you, when you look at a system, here's the menu of things you could do. And like science, and we're pushing it, about 10% of those planets have life on them. Again, we're pushing it to the edge of what do people think, what planets are in that Goldilocks zone versus planets that have resources.
Right.
You know, I think it is a moment when you land on some of these barren planets. And again, we will generate certain things for you to find on them. But if you look at a planet, you see the resources, it has things you want. There is, I love the Buzz Aldrin quote, the magnificent desolation. I think there's a certain beauty to landing on those and feeling I'm one of the only people or the only person to ever visit this planet.
Now let's talk about the next negative, and that is the lack of a functional map. All we got is this blue dotted thing that just shows the fast travel points, unknowns and points of interest on the planet. There are no icons for vendors, for mission points, for vending machines and things like that. Things that you could just easily ping on the map and be able to find in these massive cities, or settlements, should I say, settlements rather, established settlements like Neon City, Aquila, New Atlantis. So you gotta run around and you gotta actually look for these things. What you get is a scanner and a little blue dot for the mission that you pinned. So it will show you where to go in order to arrive at the point of interest. But I feel like the game just had to have a more functional map where I can pinpoint, hey, there's a vendor, I can go here and go buy things, or I can go sell items there and that. But instead, no, I have to run around like crazy, and I've gotten lost a couple of times. Now it's a little bit, it's a minor thing. It's not too big of a deal, but it would have been great to have a fully functional map. So the game encourages exploration for you to run around on these maps and things, and in these settlements and that, to find things, right? But at the same time, it also limits you, and exploring becomes a bit tedious to just search for a particular vendor, in my opinion. The next thing, which is it's a small thing, but like I said, I got some minor gripes with the skill trees, and those are the challenges that come with each rank to unlock a specific rank. So once you've got a skill point and you unlock a skill tree, right, that skill tree for that particular perk or skill is going to be locked behind 4 ranks, and each rank you basically, just show you, each rank has a challenge that you need to complete. Now, the way I see these are like daily contracts or daily activities that you get in like Call of Duty, Fortnite and things like that, like that you get in multiplayer games. My gripe here is that I wish that these challenges had some XP attached to them. So when you completed, you would have gotten like say 50 or 100 XP that counts towards you getting a skill point, because it does take quite long to just unlock a skill point. Yeah, and that, I think that would have assisted in actually getting more skill points to unlock more of these things. That's why a lot of people say it feels a bit too grindy, where you have to grind for these skill points. So I wish that these challenges had some XP tied to them. It's a small thing, but I think that would have been great. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. Then the next thing is the UI and the menu layout. Oh man, just look, I like the look of it, right? When you go into the menu, right? It looks great. It's like a clean setup, whatever. But man, for me to get to my mission list, I have to now go into this main menu. I have to go here to the star map. Then I have to click missions right here, and there my missions are. I think there should have been just a simple section on the main menu screen, where now you see I gotta press back all that screens. I think they could have added more here, there could have been 3 stuff here, so there could be my mission list right there. There could have been something else there. I would have made it much more easier. But for me to go through the star map and through just to get my missions is just a bit crazy. The next problem I have with this game is the inventory system. Now, when you pick up new weapons and new items, there will be on top, right on top, there will be a thing that says new items picked up, right? So you can see all the new things you picked up, right? That's convenient. But what really irks me about the inventory system, and I didn't like the one in Fallout 4, by the way, it's when you become encumbered with items and loot, and believe me, you are going to pick up so much loot in this game. This game encourages you to pick up every single thing, because it can be used for crafting, can be used for upgrades, can be used for your outposts, all that. You can sell it for more credits, which you will need if you want to do great ship upgrades and things like that. The problem here is that, say if I'm encumbered, right? Now I have my companion with me, right? I can give some of my items to him, right? So I have to go to him.
Yeah, sorry.
I gotta speak to him.
Didn't get much sleep last night. Lillian and me.
Okay, now, damn it.
Talking with her and I lost my cool. Got a little heated.
Okay, so now we're in a conversation here. But basically, now I gotta go to him. I gotta tell him, look, let's trade items or let's trade gear. Now I sent over my resources and whatever gear I wanted to him. Right, so now I'm not encumbered. The problem is that when I decide to go to an upgrade station or a research station, I don't have my resources that I gave to him. Now I'm missing some resources. Now I have to go back to him to move over those items back to my inventory. And I wish that those things with the upgrade workbenches and things like that, it picked up inventory across everyone, across you, your ship, as well as your companions, so that you could just easily carry over items where it's needed to do that upgrade or to craft that upgrade or to do that research task or things like that. It's just very tedious. And talking about loot and being encumbered, while we're on the topic, what's great is that when you become encumbered with items, you do not have to, I mean, when you become encumbered with items, you are not slowed down, which is great. And I know many games do that, where you become encumbered and you cannot run or anything. You can still run. The only thing that happens is your oxygen depletes much faster, and you cannot fast travel when you are encumbered. Now, this is where I think land vehicles would have been great, because when you're exploring this game, which you will do a lot of exploring, you will come across abandoned labs and things like that, and there's a lot of loot to pick up. What would have been great is that there was some sort of land vehicle or even a mech vehicle, or like a small rover thing that could travel with you, that when you exit those labs, you could then transfer those items onto your ship. I mean, onto your rover or to your mech, so that you're not encumbered and then you could fast travel. Unfortunately, that's not there. So if you pick up too much loot and you become encumbered, you're going to have to either let go of that loot, or you're going to have to walk slowly and pace yourself walking back to your ship, which could be quite a distance. So that's why I think land vehicles would have been great. Unfortunately, they did not put it in, and believe me, traveling from one point from your ship to a point of interest that's 1,000 miles away can be very tedious, especially even if your jetpack is upgraded fully. Yes, it can be fun as well, but where it becomes tedious for me and annoying is when I picked up a lot of loot from a point of interest and now I can't fast travel and I have to walk really slow, or I have to pace myself every single time to get back to the ship, because I don't want to let the loot go. There's just so much loot, so much things to pick up.
All right, here we go. We're gonna just steal a couple of things.
Excuse me, can I help you?
Starting with common office objects.
Hey, that's my stuff.
Such as staplers and pins and all sorts of things such as that.
That's it, I'm calling security. But no!
So much things to pick up in this game. Now, another gripe I have, which is also minor, but it's a Bethesda game after all. Is the loading screens when entering into a building. There's a loading screen when exiting a particular building. There's a loading screen. Unfortunately, this is just Bethesda, and I think it might be a limitation because of the creation engine. Who knows? But I know a lot of people were expecting that they would do away with this. But like I said, unless you're playing on a hard drive, it's not going to be a problem. Look, it takes like what, 5 seconds to get to exit or enter a building or particular, or your ship in that. It does not take long. So I know people have been complaining too much loading screens. At the end of the day, it's a Bethesda game, and I think it does not take away from the immersion. Yes, I would have liked it. I would have liked to enter into a place seamlessly, but yeah, it's not groundbreaking to me. It's not game breaking. It doesn't break the immersiveness at all. So let's look at this. I mean, count that. It's probably what, 5 seconds, and then we're out. Now a lot of people say yes, it's outdated, and it's those type of things that are outdated in the game. But other than that, it's a great game, man. I'm having a ton of fun with it. But like I said, if these things were upgraded or available to the player at launch, I think this would have been Game of the Year contender. It would have probably been the game of the decade that people, that Xbox fans claim, given how massive this game is. There's so much to do. Now I don't want to put a point on this game out of, from 1 to 10, but at the moment I haven't finished the game. I'm like 30 hours in, and what I can say is this is a great game. It's a fun game. There is a lot to love with this game. Yes, there are a lot of things to criticize, but there's so much more to love on this game. And currently with 30 hours in, for me this game, like previously when I was at 20 hours when I recorded it first, the game was sitting at a 7 out of 10 for me. But then I played some more, and I was sitting at like at 30 hours, the game is sitting at an 8 for me again. So it's, you know what I'm saying? So for now, I give it a solid 8 out of 10, maybe even an 8.5 out of 10. But this could change depending on my playthrough further throughout the game, and when I finish it, when I do New Game Plus, it could change. It could go down, it could be higher. But like I said, don't put too much weight on the viewer scores and that. Play the game yourself, form your own opinion. Don't listen to the hate in there the baseless trashing of the game. Yes, the game has problems. It's not a perfect game, but it's not a perfect game, but there is a lot to love here, and I am enjoying my current playthrough, man. This game is just on another scale. It's massive. It's out there, and I say give it a try on Xbox Game Pass. That is what I'm doing, and I'm loving it, man. So I give it an 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5, and I do recommend this game. But as always, guys, let me know down in the comments below, do you agree with my rating? Do you think the game is great? Have you played the game? Do you agree with the points I've raised? Do you agree with the good sides? Do you agree with the bad sides? Let me know down in the comments below, guys. And let me know, are you enjoying the game? If you are playing it, or will you be playing it soon? Man. But let me not waste any more time. I thought this was going to be a short video, but it turns into big, long discussions. With that being said, I'm going to get back into playing some more of this game. So I'll catch you in the next video, guys. As always, I appreciate the love and support. I'll catch you in the next video. Rampage out. Peace.
Hey, is it worth it?
Oh yeah, it's worth it. If you're strong enough.